At 5:30, an I-team investigation as Connecticut works to increase its production of solar energy. Should local communities have more say? Some state representatives have been advocating for change, and your consumer investigative reporter Cassidy Williams is here to continue her reporting on solar energy in our state. Cassidy.
Well, local officials like your town's mayor or zoning boards do not have a vote when it comes to deciding if a solar farm can be built. A state agency decides instead. And while we found both Democrats and Republicans who agree something should change, our investigation finds that change is unlikely. This is the quiet that Amanda Wright had been hoping for when they built a home in East Windsor. She says it normally sounds like this. An almost constant buzzing from the solar farm across the street.
Since we've moved in, there's been a very loud ringing noise that comes from the facility from sunup till sundown.
The reason it's quiet now is the solar panels have been off since March 11th, when Wright saw this.
We were sitting in our living room, where we live right here, and we saw a big flash of green light, a boom, an electrical boom type of noise. And then, we looked outside and we saw that, the ground had caught on fire.
The fire department put out the fire before it spread across the street to any homes. It's the latest headache for Wright and other neighbors who've been speaking out about the abundance of solar energy in East Windsor.
We have a 2-year-old in the home, and the wind out here is kind of crazy, so the fire was basically coming toward our homes.
The town of East Windsor itself has even created a landing page on its official website with all the different ways the town government has tried fighting against new solar farms, including a link to this map that shows the solar projects either approved or seeking approval in town. But the town does not get to decide if more are built. Those decisions are decided on by the Connecticut Siting Council, 9 appointed members who vote on certain infrastructure projects across the state.
My community has 1,000 acres of grid-scale solar. I have jokingly said it's become a frying pan.
State Representative Jamie Foster, a Democrat, has proposed legislation to give local governments more power several years in a row, like a bill that would allow towns to veto more solar if they reach a certain amount.
So it basically says once you have 100 megawatts of solar, then it goes to the municipal CEO to say we want local P&Z to take this versus we want it to go to the Siting Council.
She has support from across the aisle, like from Republican Joe Canino in Torrington, who has spoken out against the plans to tear down almost 12 acres of trees in his district to build a solar field.
All I know is that once it hits your backyard, constituents reach out real fast, and you start to realize how lopsided this process is in favor of developers.
But year after year, these types of bills do not get passed as the state continues its push for the growth of renewable energy.
I need more generation. I need more carbon-free generation. So I got to keep that door open, but you got to do it really carefully with a lot of community input.
The I-team asked Governor Lamont directly if he would support a bill that gave local governments the power to say no.
I think it depends on the circumstance, frankly, but you don't want a solar farm infringing on somebody's private property. You got to make sure you get that balance right.
The governor appoints 5 out of the 9 Siting Council members, and he chose the current chair, Ellen Katz. She says local communities already have a chance to be heard during their decision-making process.
I think we need to make sure that local concerns are heard and seen. I feel like we're already there. I feel like the towns have the right to raise that. I guess I share the governor's concerns about blanket prohibitions.
From Wright's perspective, she doesn't feel heard.
Well, unfortunately, we don't feel like they have our, our interest in mind. They don't care about the residents.
With another solar project in East Windsor currently before the Siting Council, Wright will keep speaking out, even if she isn't sure if anyone is listening. Now, one bill related to the Siting Council did make it out of committee this legislative session. The bill would require a member of the local government to serve as a non-voting member on the Siting Council for any decisions relating to their town. A similar bill was actually passed by the legislature 2 years ago, but Governor Lamont vetoed it. And Lamont has said he'd veto it again, saying the change would inhibit Connecticut's response to climate change. Your consumer investigative reporter, Cassidy Williams, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Cassidy, thank you. Police